That's a ways to go. There's still more. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the December 2016 commencement ceremony of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Jordan Gerber, a double major in biology and music, will lead us in singing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Welcome, everyone. 227 years ago, on December 11, 1789, the North Carolina General Assembly passed a bill that established what would become the nation's first public university to open its doors, the University of North Carolina. The founders believed that education was the best way to guarantee the liberty and the well-being of their newly formed nation. And while our nation's guarantees of freedom have greatly expanded and will continue to expand, that dream, with its simple elegance, rings as true today as ever. Carolina was once described as a primeval growth of forest on a little-known road, but it's now a billion-dollar, diverse, dynamic, far-reaching, forward-looking, global university firmly seated at the corner of history and future. Starting with the first 7 graduates, over the centuries, Carolina has continued to change, to face struggles and promises of the nation with the support, the love, and the spirit of generations of North Carolinians and graduates from across the world. In turn, Carolina has provided a life-changing experience for students of backgrounds from poverty to privilege, and it's been a home for faculty to make game-changing discoveries and to open countless minds to the world of knowledge and possibility. One such example is Dr. Raj Punjabi, a double Tar Heel, undergraduate in 2002 and medical school graduate in 2007. He was sitting in your seat just 9 years ago. Because you've probably been working hard on exams and finishing theses, you may not know that several weeks ago he was named the prestigious TED Prize winner for 2017 for his work as the CEO of the nonprofit Last Mile Help. Born in Liberia, he escaped civil war there when he was 9 years old, but he went back at 24 years old while he was a UNC medical student to serve those in the most remote communities, some of whom had never seen a doctor in their lives. Since 2007, Last Mile Health has created a healthcare model in Liberia that makes what they call house calls to remote regions of the country and trains and equips community health workers to treat the most overlooked among us. And they played a very major role in coordinating the massive response that became a model for halting the recent devastating spread of the Ebola epidemic there. I want you to stay tuned. On April 25th, 2017, at the annual TED conference, Dr. Punjabi will reveal how he plans to use his $1 million prize, which he says is going to be his $1 million wish for the world that he will use in the area of providing care for the poorest among us. When I look out at all of you in your gorgeous Carolina blue, I see the next generation of caring hearts and laser-sharp minds that are needed for our nation and our world's future. I know I'm looking out at what may become America's greatest innovation generation yet. You're all going to be entering fields and industries that are undergoing enormous disruption. They need innovation, critical analysis, thought leadership, and entrepreneurial spirit. I believe, your faculty believes, your family and friends who have supported you along your journey believe that you're going to do just that. We see in you, in fact, we depend upon you to be not only the fresh face, but also the principled, the resolute, and the just face of our shared global future. So today, right now, we're celebrating your success, but I think even more, we're anticipating and applauding your future. And today, we're applauding the determination and accomplishments of 2,166 students who either graduated last August or are receiving degrees today. That's 907 undergraduates, 886 master's students, 49 professional students, and 324 doctoral students. Woo! As I said earlier, Carolina was founded as the University of the People, dedicated to lux et libertas, and to preserving those rights for future generations. I am immensely proud to recognize among our graduates today military veterans and active duty personnel, including brand new ensigns and second lieutenants in the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, and the Marines. Can I ask all active duty and veteran students and members of the audience to please stand so we can thank you and recognize you. We're also celebrating our Carolina Firsts. These are our graduates who are the very first in their families to attend a university. And we applaud the bridges you're going to build to help pave the way for so many others. And again, I'd like to ask you to stand, and members of the platform party or the audience who are also firsts, please stand so we too can applaud and recognize you. Okay, I'm going to call you soon-to-be graduates. Your discoveries and your passions in all fields are going to shape our nation for decades to come. You're going to create new art and culture for your time. You're going to rethink the very disciplines you've just finished studying. You're going to be building companies in fields that don't even exist. You're going to be inventing completely new ways of healing, of discovering, of teaching. You're going to become civic leaders and politicians to help your communities meet the challenges that accompany the rapid pace of change and growth. And as you do all this, you're going to extend Carolina's impact from the old well to the edges of the world. In just a few minutes, you're going to hear from our commencement speaker, our very own Professor Paul Quadros, who is a wonderful example for anyone who dreams about making positive change and extending opportunity to others in our evolving, tumultuous world. And that's the world you too are going to help shape. So it's now my great pleasure to introduce my distinguished colleagues who are on the platform with me today. They all believe, like I do, in your promise and your potential to change the world. I'm going to call their names and ask them to stand and remain standing, but I ask you to please hold your applause until I've recognized everyone. I'll start with James Dean, Executive Vice Chancellor and Provost. Winston Crisp, Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. Chris Derrickson, University Registrar. Bruce Cairns, Chair of the Faculty. Vin Stepanidis, Secretary of the Faculty. Dylan Russell, President of the Graduate and Professional Students Federation. It's also my pleasure to recognize Professor and Senior Associate Dean for Fine Arts and Humanities, Terry Rhodes, who is our Faculty Marshal. Thank you very much for taking part in this important ceremony. It's now my pleasure to introduce Joe Knott, a member of the UNC Board of Governors and Carolina alum, and he will bring greetings on behalf of the board.
Thank you, Carol. Chairman Stone, what a great name for a chairman. Members of the Board of Trustees, Chancellor Folt, Provost Dean, Professor Quadros, distinguished guests, faculty, staff, members of the community, and students of the University of North Carolina. As an alumnus of this great institution, I bring you greetings from the Board of Governors and our President, Margaret Spellings. The Board of Governors has a heavy responsibility. We are to oversee, to shepherd, and to steward 17 separate institutions. Each one of these institutions is a separate entity. Each one has a unique calling, a unique ministry. Each one is valuable, but today we are here to celebrate your graduation from the priceless gem, Carolina. Congratulations. Carolina is the school that began it all in North Carolina. It was the first. It was founded when George Washington still walked the earth. It has nurtured and nourished and supplied leaders and leadership for this state and this nation since its founding. We are here to thank those who have made your education here possible, those who have gone before and who have protected and who have sustained and who have kept the university as it is, building better and better from one generation to the next. We thank the taxpayers of North Carolina, most of whom have never been here, who have paid the vast majority of the expenses and costs of the education you have received and will enjoy for the rest of your lives. But I'm here to bring greetings, I'm here to congratulate, and I'm here to say that you are now part of the Tar Heel Nation. We think of the great Tar Heels in the past, the famous Tar Heels, Charlie Justice, Lenny Rosenbluth, Larry Miller, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was a long time after I was there, to let you know where I am. James Worthy, Lawrence Taylor, Don McCauley, Gio Bernard. Do you remember that end run that went around? One of the greatest things I ever saw. Elijah Hood. Those are famous Tar Heels. But you have been trained, you have been educated, you have been equipped not to carry the ball down the field. You are trained, you are equipped, you are educated to carry the civilization forward through the stormy seas of the future. You will need your education. You've been trained not to hit the goal that has, I don't know where they are, but the goals that have the nets on the bottom. You've been trained not to hit that goal, but you've been trained to hit the goal that all men, all people might live in the light and in the liberty. Lux Libertas, the motto of the University of North Carolina. Go Heels, and that's you.
Thank you, Governor Knott. I'm now very pleased to introduce the Chair of the Board of Trustees of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, Chair Dwight Stone.
I think Governor Knott might have been a preacher in his early career, don't you? Good afternoon. I'm honored to extend warm congratulations to our newest graduates, along with their parents, family, and friends, on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I'm excited for those joining the ranks of Tar Heel alumni today. I've always considered myself incredibly fortunate to have had the opportunity to earn a Carolina degree. And I also have sat proudly in an audience like this to watch my 3 children accomplish the same dream. As gratifying as that feeling was at the time, and I'll spare you the details of how long ago that was, I can tell you with enormous conviction that such pride will only go stronger, much stronger in the future. That's because the importance of the time you spent here on this magnificent campus and in Chapel Hill, and why it was so special, will be something I predict you will think about often in the years to come. Carolina is truly a place that transforms lives in remarkable ways. As trustees, our job is to support Chancellor Folt and the university in doing everything possible to provide our students with the very best opportunities, everything that a great global public research university offers, to help you learn, discover, and serve the public good, especially here in North Carolina. Whatever path you choose to pursue in the future, we are confident that the extraordinary education that you received at Carolina has prepared you exceptionally well for the next steps in your journey. You can literally change the world. That's just what we do at Carolina. It's in this institution's DNA, and that's what you have been a part of in your precious time here. Our university's founders wisely believed that an educated person is a public asset, and the people of North Carolina and our supporters still believe in and depend on this public benefit. That's why your Carolina education has included a focus on engagement and public service. I urge you to continue to do that after you leave Carolina and to prove our founders were right. Congratulations on your academic and personal achievements, and the very best wishes for your future success. Your trustees are very proud of each of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Stone. I'm now very pleased to introduce the Chair of the Board of Directors of the General Alumni Association, Teresa Williams, who will bring greetings on behalf of Carolina's 300 plus, and plus a few more in a few minutes, living alumni.
Congratulations, graduates. Today, you become a permanent member of the University of North Carolina's 223-year history and tradition of excellence. After many arduous days, hard work, anxious moments, and late nights, you have earned your degree from Carolina. You and your family can be proud of your sacrifices and your accomplishments. You are joining the largest and only permanent part of our Carolina family. Today, you become, as the Chancellor has mentioned, one of the more than 317,000 living UNC alumni who live in all 50 states and over 140 countries around the world. The UNC General Alumni Association is proud to be the official organization for all UNC students and graduates. Carolina is a lifelong connection. The GAA will keep you linked to your university, your classmates, and your Tar Heel friends. It will provide opportunities to participate in and attend Carolina club events, reunions, sporting event gatherings, and provide a wide-ranging menu of available alumni activities. Our bi-monthly publication of the Alumni Review will keep you informed and up to date on what is happening at UNC, and you will always know where you can find other alumni through our alumni directory. We encourage you to take advantage of our networking opportunities and career services program. No matter where you live, please keep the GAA updated with your address. So again, on behalf of all Carolina alumni, the GAA extends congratulations to each of you for a job well done. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chair Williams. It's a wonderful tradition at Carolina that we invite one of our outstanding members of the faculty to speak at the mid-year commencement. Senior Class President Elizabeth Grady will introduce our speaker. Elizabeth is a double major in journalism and political science from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Good afternoon, class of 2016. Congratulations. The big day has finally come, and it is my honor to introduce your commencement speaker, Paul Quadros. Many of you in the audience today may know him through UNC School of Media and Journalism, where he teaches writing and reporting courses. You may also know him through UNC's Scholars Latino Initiative, where he serves as the chair and executive director. An award-winning author and investigative reporter, Paul Quadros joined UNC School of Media and Journalism in 2007. In his time at UNC, he has received the 2012 UNC Diversity Award. His book, A Home on the Field, was selected as the 2009 Summer Reading Selection, which, by the way, he is the only faculty member to have had this honor, and he co-founded the Latino Latina Caucus, a coalition that advocates for Latino interests at UNC. Quadros' passion for reporting on race and poverty in America has been recognized by Time Magazine, the Chicago Reporter, the New York Times, and the Huffington Post, to name a few. In addition to being nationally recognized, Quadros is a leader in the community. The UNC Scholars Latino Initiative is a 3-year mentorship and college prep program hosted by UNC students and Latino high school students at 6 local schools. Quadros is also co-founder of the Carolina Latino-Latina Collaborative, UNC's Latino Educational and Cultural Center. Currently, Quadros is writing a 2nd book on migration, and he is involved in a documentary production series based on his first book, A Home on the Field, which details Latino youth on a soccer team that he coaches in Siler City, North Carolina. His passion for students and the community are incredibly inspiring, and we are so fortunate to have him as a member of the Carolina family. As we begin the transition from students to alumni, please join me in extending my warmest welcome to your commencement speaker, Paul Quadros.
Get set up here. Good afternoon. Thank you, Chancellor Folt, for the opportunity to speak today. To my fellow faculty members, administrators, staff, parents, and guests, I welcome you all with a warm heart. To the graduates, it is an amazing sight to see you all robed in Carolina blue. You've all worked so hard to get here. And I can say on behalf of all our Carolina family that we're also very proud of you. Yours has been a journey of becoming, but I want you to note that where you start after today is not where you may end up tomorrow. Just look at me. I'm a journalist. I'm the media. I'm considered the most hated person in the country. I'm not to be trusted. I tell lies, apparently. I make stuff up. I lean too left or I lean too right. I'm biased. I'm to blame for the terrible campaign. And I guess I'm also to blame for the outcome. And forget about my approval ratings. I didn't start out this way. And those of you who are thinking of law school, pay attention. No, I wanted to be a copywriter and work in a high-rise office and write TV commercials and count the money, and I did. But after years of selling stuff, I felt empty. Now, my father was an immigrant. He came to the U.S. in 1960 and saved his money working 2 jobs to bring my mother and brother from Peru. 9 months after the family was reunited, I appeared. I look exactly like him, only a little taller. Despite his modest size, he had a huge personality. He was an educated man, but here in the U.S., he was forced to push a broom for 30 years. He could see I was floundering. He took me aside one day and asked me a simple but penetrating question. ¿Qué estás haciendo con tu pluma? What are you doing with your pen? That question changed my life. I went from Mad Men to Spotlight. I became a big city investigative reporter. I wrote about the poor, the marginalized. I wrote about housing discrimination and the lack of access to health care. I wrote about violence and its causes, about race discrimination. I've seen the devastation a flood can bring, or hurricane. My life changed, and for the better. But as good as it was professionally, I was still missing something here. And so I asked myself that question again. It is now 2004, November, and I'm walking out onto a lush green field at Wake Med Soccer Park. There are hundreds of people cheering behind me, banners snap in the air, drums bang. In front, a group of boys are celebrating. They're dressed in white. Almost all are from Mexico, some from Central America. A few were born here. Many are here illegally. The boys' soccer program at Jordan Matthews High School in Siler City was just 3 years old, and I was its coach. I tell my students that stories, really good stories, are like a river, and you have to let the current take you where it wants to go. And this current took me to that field. In 1999, I moved from Washington, D.C. to Siler City. I wanted to write about the emerging Latino community in poultry processing towns in the South. The food processing industry had been recruiting workers from the border to come to little towns like Siler City and employ them. Some people described the migration of Mexicans and Central Americans as an invasion. Not true. It was an invitation from big business for cheap labor. And I was interested in seeing how communities would adapt to a changing population and how newcomers would find a home. I didn't know it would be me finding that new home. I thought I was going to write a Washington policy wonky book on immigration, you know, the kind about this thick, about 5 pounds, and one no one ever reads. But instead, I did something journalists never do. I did something I tell my students not to do. I got involved. Sometimes you have to break the rules to become the person you are meant to be. A group of Latino boys asked me to get involved in their cause to create a soccer program at Jordan Matthews. They had tried for years and been turned down each time by the administration. One kid in particular, Indio, came to me and said that playing for his school would be his dream. Now, Siler City, like many small towns, is a football town, not football. And the town had been through a lot of changes, and it didn't want one more compromise. But being resourceful, I took up the cause, and with many others, we prevailed in getting the team. In 3 short seasons, Los Jets made it to the North Carolina State Championships. It hadn't been easy. People cursed us. They threatened us. They threw rocks at our bus. On that winning day, watching the kids no one sees, the kids who are invisible in our society stand with gold medals on their chest, that was a sight to behold. Think about that image, and think if you've ever seen that in our media. Immigrant kids, Latino boys in triumph. I have to confess that I was in tears. I had convinced myself that if you just gave them an equal shot, if you gave them an equal playing field, that they could win and become champions, and that the glow of victory would shield them for the rest of their lives. In that celebration was Indio, the kid who made us all champions. Indio was tall with bright eyes. He oozed confidence. He had earned that swagger crossing the border by himself, surviving 5 days and nights, and he was only 11 years old when he did it. Indio did not come to the U.S. for a job. He didn't come here for a handout. He came for the most innocent of reasons. All he wanted to do was to see his dad. It had been 5 years since he last saw him, and he was starting to forget what he looked like. He ran out of food on the 2nd day in the desert. On the 3rd day, they ran out of water. It got so bad, when his group came upon a cattle trough, they all drank from it, despite what was floating on top. At night, it was freezing, and all he could think about was seeing his father again. And he did, in Siler City. That's where I met him. He was a brilliant player, but more importantly, he was a leader. At 11 years old, he went into the desert a boy, and he walked out a man. At 15, he worked in construction during the summers. In the winter, he flipped burgers. He made excellent marks in school, despite knowing that he could never go to college because he was undocumented. It was his dream to be a state champion, and he never wavered from that. Even when we were down during games, he would remain supremely confident, and after we'd win, he'd say, "Si cuadros, I told you." Is it any wonder then that Indio got the game-winning championship goal? Is it any wonder that he became the first Mexican immigrant to win the state MVP? The following year, while playing in his backyard with some of the other boys, he tore the cartilage in his right knee. I took him to a doctor, but he was never the same player. When we lost in the playoffs the following season, he wept uncontrollably on the field. And just like that, his playing days were over. Life changes in an instant. The person you were ends, and another person begins. Experience teaches you all things change, and wisdom teaches you to accept it. After graduation, Indio's options were limited. Through a new program at JM and here at UNC called the Scholars Latino Initiative, we got him in at NCA&T to study construction. In time, he became a dreamer and got to the special federal program called Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA, that rewarded him for his hard work and protected him from deportation for the first time and gave him a work permit. A program the incoming president has vowed to eliminate. Think about that for a moment. A program that asks kids to trust the government, to trust us, to come out of the shadows and promise to protect them is being rescinded. Indio did 2 years of college before dropping out. He never wore a robe like you are wearing today. He got married to a U.S. citizen, and he went to work. A few years later, I got a call from him. I could hear the wind whipping in the background. Cuadros, guess where I am? I had no clue. He laughed and told me he was 10 stories high on a steel girder. He had become an industrial welder, and he was building skyscrapers. If you can imagine that famous photo of immigrant workers in New York City sitting on a steel beam eating lunch, that's Indio. He worked all over the U.S. He built suspension bridges in the Midwest, high-rise office buildings in the Northeast, and through all his travels, he would call me and ask me to guess where he was. One day last year, he called me again to meet. I could tell right away something was wrong because he sounded anxious. He looked nervous, and he told me he had saved $15,000 and wanted to go into business for himself. He was going to build his own skyscrapers. He had done all the work to start, but he needed a first contract. I was out of my element. I didn't know anything about the construction industry, and I knew that he had outgrown me. We plotted a plan, and for the first time, we talked about failing. I kept in touch, and things looked grim, but I shouldn't have worried. He called me 2 months later to tell me he'd just gotten a first contract to erect a restaurant in Mecklenburg County. Wasn't very tall, but you got to start somewhere. He called me a short time later and said he was building a new school, 47,000 square feet, 2 stories. And last I heard, he was out of state building a new grocery store and employing some of his old teammates. I've learned a lot of lessons about immigration since arriving in Siler City. And I've often described what communities like Siler City go through with immigration is like the 5 stages of dealing with grief. In the year 2000, Siler City certainly went through its angry phase when a Klan rally was held featuring David Duke. Today, the town is more than 50% Latino and is looking for ways to engage its newcomer population. It's a bit closer to acceptance. And a town that was aging out, dying off, is now younger, full of energy and being renewed. The people there are no longer immigrants. They're settlers. They've put down roots, and nothing is going to change that. India's story is exceptional, but not extraordinary. I've met many others like him. These are young people who are hungry to achieve, to make a name for themselves, just like you. They're on fire. You see, being an American has nothing to do with papers and everything to do with spirit. It's that beating in your heart for freedom, to be your own person, to control your own destiny. Americans like Indio are born every day around the world. They just never get the chance to get here. Immigration is not a static issue. Just can't look at it with today's eyes and grasp it. It is a generational issue. It is America's investment in tomorrow. We're soon to see a new vision that stands in stark contrast to all the other visions that made this country great. Think of all the monuments you've seen, all the monuments you've taken your children to see, and think of what each stands for. The Lincoln Memorial, Arlington National Cemetery, Statue of Liberty. And now think what a giant wall at our border stands for. It doesn't say that you're strong or noble. It only says you're afraid. I said earlier that the person you start out will not be the person you will become. As you are recognized for your achievements today, I ask that you all look and see what lies ahead for you, for your future and your country's future. I ask you, as my father asked me, what will you do with that diploma? Where you see injustice, what will you do? Where you see suffering, what choice will you make? Where you see wrong, how will you make it right? America is changing. It will not be the America of the past. It will be more diverse than ever. This is how America grows. How we accept that change is your generation's big issue to confront and resolve to create a better future for us all. It won't be easy. Look at how my generation is dealing with it. I repeat, what will you do with that diploma? One last note. Indio today is 28. He's a father and a permanent legal resident. He got his green card. He and his wife named their son Aiden. When I asked him why an Irish Celtic name and not a Spanish name, he said, it means little fire. And like Aiden, I know that you all were burned just as bright. I hope to coach that kid one day. That's something that I look forward to. Thank you very much. Congratulations on your achievements. Parents, congratulations on shepherding your kids to this point. God bless you. God bless our great university, and God bless our country.
Thank you, Professor Quadros. I now have the privilege of introducing the Dean of the Graduate School, Dr. Steve Mattson, who will present the candidates for the doctoral degree. Carolina's doctoral students make extraordinary contributions to our entire university community, and they are absolutely essential to the excellence of our research and our teaching programs. They teach, they take care of patients, they serve in the community in so many important ways, and they are already on their way to become our future professors, teachers, and leaders. We thank you and offer congratulations.
Will the candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Public Health, Doctor of Education, and Doctor of Nursing Practice please rise to be conducted forward by the Faculty Marshal, Terry Rhodes. Natalie Holman, PhD in toxicology. Huda Salim Al-Nomani, PhD in nursing. Jack Andrew Solano, PhD in Physics. Jabari Kalist, PhD in Material Science. Christopher Higgins, PhD in Biology. Laura Gutierrez Escobar, PhD in Anthropology. John Kasachawa, PhD in Psychology. Diane Talley, PhD in Education. Molly Barnes, PhD in Musicology. Helen Lee, PhD in English and Comparative Literature. Meredith Farmer, PhD in English and Comparative Literature. Sandra Neidhart, PhD in German Studies. Carolina Dimsdale, DNP, Nursing Practice. Keenan Jenkins, PhD in Psychology. Allison Schlobohm, PhD in Communication Studies. David Irvin, PhD in Genetics and Molecular Biology. Lana Mollison, PhD in Genetics and Molecular Biology. Marcella Parada-Conson, PhD in Economics. Syrian Vita-Yakorn, PhD in Computer Science. Andrew Ringley, PhD in History. Willie J. Griffin, PhD in History. Jared McGwirt, PhD in Nutrition. Angela Chi Yang, PhD in Pharmaceutical Sciences.
Thank you, Dean Mattson. Please join me in applauding the achievements of these amazing doctoral candidates. We next turn to the conferral of the doctoral, master's, professional, and bachelor degrees. I'd like to take a moment to, to recognize the accomplishments of our outstanding students. We're going to be recognizing seniors who are exceptionally accomplished and who exemplify the highest possible level of undergraduate scholarship. Will the candidates for the baccalaureate degrees with the highest honors please stand and remain standing? Congratulations to each of you on your outstanding achievement. You may be seated. I'm now going to call upon the deans of the university in order of the anniversary date for each college or school to present their candidates for doctoral, master's, and baccalaureate degrees. Will Dean Kevin Guskowitz please come forward to present the students from the College of Arts and Sciences?
Chancellor Folt, I am pleased to present to you the candidates for Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Arts, Master of Art in Fine Arts, Master of City and Regional Planning, Master of Science, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of Music, and Bachelor of Science. Will these students please rise?
You may be seated. Will Dean William Roper please come forward to present the students from the School of Medicine?
Chancellor Folt, I'm pleased to present to you the candidates for Doctor of Audiology, Doctor of Medicine, Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Physical Therapy, Master of Science, Bachelor of Science in Clinical Laboratory Science, and Bachelor of Science in Radiologic Science. Will these students please rise?
Thank you. Will Dean Fouad Abdelhalik please come forward to present the students from the School of Education?
Chancellor Folt, I'm pleased to present to you the candidates for Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Education, Master of Arts, Master of Arts in Teaching, Master of Education, Master of School Administration, and Bachelor of Arts in Education. Will these students please rise?
Thank you. Will Dean Bob Lewin please come forward to present the students from the Eshelman School of Pharmacy?
Chancellor Folt, I am pleased to present to you candidates for Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Pharmacy, Master of Science, and Bachelor of Science in Pharmaceutical Sciences. Will these students please rise?
Thank you. Will Dean Steve Mattson please come forward to present the students from the Graduate School?
Chancellor Folt, I'm pleased to present the candidates for the Masters of Professional Science. Will these students please rise?
Will Senior Associate Dean of Faculty Dave Hoffman please come forward to present the students from the Keenan Flagler Business School?
Chancellor Folt, I'm pleased to present to you the candidates for Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Accounting, Master of Business Administration, and Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. Will these students please rise?
Thank you. Will Dean Gary Bowen please come forward to present the students from the School of Social Work?
Chancellor Folt, I am pleased to present to you the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy and the Master of Social Work. Will these students please rise?
Will Dean Susan King please come forward to present the students from the School of Media and Journalism?
Chancellor Folt, the school that represents proudly our commencement speaker, is pleased to present to you the candidates for Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Arts, and Bachelor of Arts in Media and Journalism. Will these students please stand?
Thank you. Will Dean Gary Marcinini please come forward to present the students from the School of Information and Library Science?
Chancellor Folt, I am pleased to present to you the candidates for Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Science in Information Science, Master of Science in Library Science, and Bachelor of Science in Information Science. Will these students please rise?
Will Dean Barbara Reimer please come forward to present the students from the Gilling School of Global Public Health?
Chancellor Folt, I am pleased to present to you the candidates for Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Public Health, Master of Healthcare Administration, Master of Public Health, Master of Science, Master of Sciences in Environmental Sciences and Engineering, Master of Science in Public Health, and Bachelor of Science in Public Health. Will these students rise?
Thank you. Will Interim Dean Ken May please come forward to present the students from the School of Dentistry?
Chancellor Folt, I'm pleased to present to you the candidates for Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Dental Surgery, Master of Science, and Bachelor of Science in Dental Hygiene. Will these students please rise?
Will Interim Dean Donna Havens please come forward to present the students from the School of Nursing?
Chancellor Folt, I am pleased to present to you the candidates for Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Nursing Practice, Master of Science in Nursing, and Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Will these students please rise?
Will Dean Mike Smith please come forward to present students from the School of Government?
Chancellor Folt, I'm pleased to present to you candidates for Master of Public Administration. Will these students please rise and remain standing?
Now, will all the degree recipients and candidates please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in the University of North Carolina, by the State of North Carolina, and by the university entrusted to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree for which the faculty has certified you, together with all the rights and privileges thereunto pertaining, effective December 31st, 2016, and I offer you my warmest congratulations. Rich Burris, a vice president of the senior class, to come forward and lead you in the switching of your tassel, signifying your graduation from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill.
As vice president of the class of 2017, I'm privileged to lead you in moving your tassels from right to left, signifying your new status. Congratulations.
Congratulations, everybody. You may be seated. This is it. It's almost over. The speeches are almost finished. You're almost really completely finished with your graduation, but not quite yet. I have a graduation ritual. On the morning of graduation, I always get up and walk across campus in the quiet and the beauty of the waking of the day. I try at that time to imagine what all of you are feeling. I think about the countless times each of you has walked these paths, alone or with friends, thinking or in conversation, on your way to classes or your other activities. And this morning, I just kept thinking about the incredible discoveries that take place right here every single day, and of the curiosity and the wonder and the service ethic that we are so fortunate to spend our entire lives nurturing. You know, I feel that wonder every day. Every single time I look into a microscope and I see a cell divide, I still feel in awe. I feel the wonder of this place when I stop and take a moment to truly observe our beautiful natural world. When I learn about the discoveries that are being made here. When I watch you perform in class or on the playing fields or in theaters. When I hear about your launching of new companies, or just in passing when I can catch a smile or I can see heads together deep in conversation. Wonder, curiosity, determination, and service to others thrive here. And we see it in the lives and work of our people every day. For example, this time last year, Carolina professor Dr. Aziz Sanjar received the Nobel Prize for his life-saving research on genomic repair. And he credited his colleagues and his students at Carolina for everything he accomplished. And he inspired millions of young people in his native home of Turkey. This fall, the efforts of generations of students resulted in the renaming of Saunders Hall to Carolina Hall and the launching of the first of its kind exhibit contextualizing Carolina's history during the period of Reconstruction after the Civil War, through the rise of the KKK when the building was named, and to the time right now when the name was changed. This summer, recent graduate, class of 16, Yasmin Cole, won a prestigious scholarship at Imperial College London. Well, she'll continue studies she began as an undergraduate, studies on cancer, with one of the lead scientists who identified the BRCA breast cancer genes. Every day, so many of you serve in communities around our state and beyond. Just last year, more than 95,000 hours of service were undertaken by our students, bringing in help to communities that can't afford it, worth millions and millions of dollars. A few weeks ago, UNC's Michael Jordan received the Presidential Medal of Freedom for being an example to youth, philanthropy, and social justice. Michael has said in true Tar Heel spirit, "I can accept failure, everyone fails at something, but I cannot accept not trying." If you go to the movies or watch TV over the holiday, you can see UNC class of 1990 graduate Billy Crudup in the new movie Jackie. You can watch UNC graduate 2004 Megan Ketch starring in American Gothic. Or you can see the Queen of Katwe movie based on a book written by UNC's Professor Tim Crothers. And just this morning, I just read it this morning, the New York Times Magazine had an article highlighting the groundbreaking work of Dr. Wellesley Burks, the Executive Dean of UNC's Medical School and Professor of Pediatrics. And it's his work to prevent peanut allergies. It's easy to say you want to do something that will change lives, Burks says, but you have to focus on an area to really get it done. Each one of these stories shows the power of real people Real people who went to school or work right here this day to drive the future. They share curiosity and wonder. They're talented, they persevere, they inspire, and ultimately, they drive positive change in the world. We are in the midst of powerful waves of change, and my charge to you graduates today is very simple. Stay curious, stay open to wonder, and stay true to your best, your most empathetic selves. Find the place in yourselves where your courage and integrity, where your compassion and your authenticity are held. Be grateful and give back. You received opportunities here that very few people will ever realize. And you've been supported by people you'll never even know. By the hard-earned dollars of North Carolinians from all walks of lives, from alumni who believe in you and believe in the grand mission, our grand public mission. Before you leave town, if it's not raining too hard, why not go over and drink once more from the old well? But when you do that, remember that you're not leaving this place. You're carrying it with you. And we are so very proud, so very honored to have been and continue to be a part of your lives. So now before we close, I want to follow another Carolina tradition, and I'd like to ask all the families and friends, parents, spouses, children, grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, ministers, coaches, please stand. Graduates, it is now your turn very strongly to say thank you. You can say it a little bit stronger. 1, 2, 3, thank you. 1, 2, 3, thank you. Yes. Let's also thank Director of University Band, Jeffrey Fuchs, your fellow student musicians for their gift of music today, our student marshals for their work, and the wonderful, dear Carolina staff who prepared this facility for this event as they do for all of our facilities every single day. Now I'm going to ask everyone to stand, and a few instructions. At the conclusion of the alma mater, the senior class marshals will lead the recessional of the faculty and the degree candidates. So I ask you to remain in place until the recessional is completed. I want to thank you all again and wish everyone happy holidays. And now, as you're all standing, we're going to call on Jordan Gerber once again to lead us in singing Hark the Sound.
Hark the sound of Tar Heel voices ringing clear and true, singing Carolina's praises, shouting NCU. Hail to the brightest star of all, clear its radiant shine. Carolina, priceless gem, receive all praises thine. I'm a Tar Heel born, I'm a Tar Heel bred,